Why do small businesses fail? Most businesses are going to fail within a 5-year period. So if you're a UK business owner and you don't want to end up into one of those statistics, please watch on, because I'm going to share with you today why I see small businesses fail in the UK. And the reason why I'm fairly well placed to give this advice is, for the last good few years, I've been helping small business owners with debt problems. Some I can help and get them through the woods and, you know, go on to do great things, but I see a lot of failures where they end up in insolvency. And when you look at it and you do that post-mortem of the business, there's things that you see, there's patterns that emerge. So I want to share some of that information with you. By the way, I'm Chris Word and I'm from Director First. Now, the first thing that I see is poor financial planning. I remember one of my first bosses used to say, proper planning prevents piss poor performance. And it's always stuck in my head. And this poor financial planning is really down to directors not tracking money, okay? They see everything in the bank as their dough, and it's not. You know, in there, I'll tell you what I do, right? I'll get money in, and at the end of the month, I will put 20% away for that, and I'll put 20% away for corporation tax in 2 separate accounts that I've got with Starling. Dead simple to do, they're called spaces. The reason I do that is I know somewhere down the line I'm going to get a VAT bill and I'm going to get a corporation tax bill, and I've got more than enough money in those spaces to pay on time to avoid late payments, late filing fees, okay? Because and you learn this out of a bit of experience. The cash in my business isn't mine, it's my business's money, okay? So if I'm not tracking the money, if I'm not understanding contingent liabilities that are coming up down the line, I could overspend and I could end up in a right bloody mess. You know, it's important that I have a profit and loss, perhaps do cash flow projections, you know, what money is expected to come in this month, next month, the month after. And I try and have something what I call a prudent reserve. Okay, I've got a pot of money that I've built up over the years. So for me, if the shit hits the fan, the world ends, my business could still survive for a good period of time. If nothing else come in, if YouTube turn me off, TikTok ban me, Facebook ban me, and you lot stop ringing me and stop using me, I could still survive. But I see so many businesses where it sort of brings me on to my next point. The director takes all the dough out. Literally, everything that goes into that business, the director takes out because he or she will use it as a personal cash machine. And that's one of the main reasons why these small businesses fail. The director's taking too much money out. I'll give you an example. A director might have a really decent job, he's had enough of the employed life, and he decides to set his own business up. And this will happen. Do you know, I've been guilty of this before. He'll work his tail off for a period of time and he'll get I keep on saying there's some great female entrepreneurs out there, but they'll work themselves into the ground, they get the business up and running, and then they might go, right, okay, I'm up and running now, I'm going to take the foot off the gas a little bit, I'm going to employ some staff, and let's say, I don't know, I've seen it before in my businesses. You employ staff and you think they're doing something, and they're not doing it like you're doing it, okay? They're not working as hard, they're not closing as many sales, and I've taken the foot off the gas. And before long my costs have gone up, my sales have come down. There's not as much money that I can take, but I still need to take that amount of money because I've become accustomed to it. And as I've started to earn, my lifestyle's increased. It's a recipe for disaster. I'm a firm believer, right? My efforts in business are not rewarded immediately. I'm always living in the past. So if I have a month of a certain amount of revenue, it's not because of what I've done that month. It's what I've done previous months. So if I take the foot off the gas and go on easy street, and I'm talking to you about this because I've done it, right? I don't feel the pain straight away. I feel the pain, it's in the post. So again, another reason that I see businesses fail is the director is taking too much dough out. Ties into proper financial planning. Work out what you can afford to take. Try and be disciplined, and if there's more money at the end of the year, take a little bit more money, but please don't take every penny out of the business that the business needs, certainly in its early days. Get that prudent reserve. Another point I want to bring to you, and it's quite a simple one, is not enough sales. A business thrives on sales. Whether you are an insolvency advisor, a doctor, a dentist, a butcher builder, or a candlestick maker, if you're not closing enough sales, then your business is not going to survive. And the way that I know how to close sales is, I call the bloody leads, okay? I follow up on the customers, and I try my best. I try my best to find a solution for your problem. And I'm going to let you into a real sneaky secret, okay? Do all these free videos on YouTube, and I know you think he's a saint, that Chris Word, and what a guy, we should get him in on for the Pride of Britain. And I'm all for a recommendation if you want it. But I tell you why I do it. Is because I do it because out of this advice that I give you, I know it's fairly different to most other insolvency people, but a lot of you watching there will ring me. And if you ring me and I can find a solution to your problem and you use one of our licensed insolvency practitioners, that's how I get paid. Now don't worry, you don't have to use me. There are hundreds of calls I take every month that don't go anywhere, and I just give them some good, solid, free advice. But it's important that, whatever business you're in, you understand that you're in the sales game. You've got to get customers over the line. Now, the next reason that I see businesses fail is they've got shit marketing. Okay? You might be the best salesperson in the world, you might have the most fabulous product, but if nobody knows about you, your business is going to go down the toilet. Now I'll give you a little tip about what I do. If you are a small business owner, okay, that has a product that you are proud of, you should be using social media because it's free. You use YouTube, Instagram, TikTok is where it's at right now. Do you know what I mean? Facebook, do videos, educate your clients. What do you think I do here? The reason that we do well at Director First is we answer the questions you've got that no one else answers. Because most people in our space, they don't want you to know all the answers. Because if you don't know the answers, they can charge you more fees down the line that you're not aware of. So it's about education for us. We try and educate people and we give that much goodwill, that much value. If the shit finally hits the fan, you go, you know what, that funny looking chap with the specs up in the north, I'm going to give him a call. So you know what I mean? Marketing, get people to the table. Marketing is bringing people to the table. Sale is getting the deal done. These are two areas. And if you don't know about it, learn about it. Really, really, really important. Another reason why I see businesses grow is they just grow too quickly. Overexpansion. I used to do a bit of property, and I remember there was this firm up here, and they were going great guns. They were buying absolutely everything. And I used to speak to the guy who sorted out our finance, and he says, Chris, be careful. He says, you've got to pace the growth. You've got to pace the growth. You know, I've always wanted that big business, hundreds of staff, CEO, ivory tower. I've not got that, I don't think I've got the headspace for that type of business. We grow very slowly here. We know what we can do. If we trebled the amount of inquiries that we took a month, we wouldn't be able to service them. Our customer service will go through the floor. You wouldn't be doing the reviews that you give me over on Trustpilot. Go and look at my reviews on Trustpilot. Because getting bigger is not necessarily better. I see businesses that start to do okay and then they ramp up. They ramp up and it goes okay for a while, but there's a big difference from being a 2, 3, 4 man business to a 12, 13, 14 man business or woman business. It's a huge leap up. And just because it works with 2 of yous doesn't mean it'll work with 20 of yous. You've got increased overheads, you've got staffing costs. You've then got to go, well, listen, are my staff going to work to the degree that I can work? You know, all these things that I see businesses fall. And one of the things when they're overexpanding, this is another point, is they take on mega expensive debt. So if we look at what happened after COVID, right? Loads of people had dough in the pockets. Businesses had money that they'd never had before. And the economy boomed. You know, property prices went up through the roof. You know, online sales, if you're an Amazon seller, you were having it bang off. If you had an half decent website selling stuff, you were doing fantastic. I'm going to tell you an example. We work with a big toy shop, online toy shop, great business, really good lads. They were having it bang off after COVID, and what they did is they thought, you know what, I'm going to take on some debt. I can afford right now to take on these debt, and they took on loans with Funding Circle, iWalker, Capital on Tap, Flaximize, that are quite expensive. They are quite expensive lenders, okay? So what happened is that funded the growth, it's funded the expansion, but what happened in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024? Sales slowed down. Less money in the economy, less money in people's pockets, interest rates shot up, energy prices shot up. So when all these prices shoot up, people have got less money to spend on toys. So sales slowed down. And when the sales slowed down, there wasn't enough money left in the business to fund the expensive debt that they'd taken on, and the business failed. It wasn't a bad business. They just expanded too much and took on too much expensive debt. I've started to do longer videos, by the way, so I've got a few more notes so I don't get lost. Another reason that I see a business fail is failure to delegate. So I deal with a lot of small business owners. You know, I'll give you an example. You know, it might be a builder or a plumber. And what they're doing is that they're working their absolute nuts off 5, 6, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. And what they're doing is they're doing the plumbing, they're doing the accounting, they're quoting the jobs, they're going back to the remedial works, they're going out pricing more jobs, and they just burn out. They burn out because they cannot. I'll tell you what I try and do in my business, right? And hopefully, let me just get a little glass of water. They're knackering me out, these longer videos. I'll tell you what I do in my business, or what I try and do. Is I know I think I know what I'm good at. I think I'm all right on camera. I don't look great, okay, I understand that, but I can pass a message on, right? So I try and spend my time on marketing, and when I have a couple of my colleagues who will take the inquiry, so if you call me, call direct first, you might not get me straight away, okay? You might speak to my brother, you might speak to Emily, you might speak to somebody else, and they'll take your inquiry, we'll find out a little bit more about what's going on, and then we'll all have a chat about it, and if there's something that I'm needed on, I'll jump on that next call with you, okay? So my job is really, where I need to be focusing is doing, now I don't do my own videos, I've got Jed Mills from Content Creators Blackpool who does all my videography. I'll plug Jed, he's fantastic, right? Because I can't edit. I'm crap with computers. I'm crap with accounts. I'm crap with paperwork. But I'm good at talking to customers. I'm good at finding solutions to your problems. So that's where I try and focus my time. And everything else I try and delegate. But I don't just delegate and just forget about it. I delegate it and check it's being done right from time to time. And the more times that I check that things are being done, it's more likely that the people around me will do what's expected. You know, I had it the other week where, you know, I've got a VA. And the lady who I work with, we just thought that if you watch our marketing, we try and put content out every day. We try and put text and copy content out on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. And I was on holiday for 8 days, and I've checked. I'm like, we haven't put out these copies that we were going to do on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So I spoke to Emily. I says, Emily's, what's gone on? Emily goes, well, it's our guy in the Philippines who does that. So we checked it, and it just slipped through the net. No one's fallen out about it, but when I delegate it, I've got to check it's being done as well. Or if I'm not checking it's being done, someone else has got to check that it's being done. Doing everything myself, I've had it before. I have a CRM that I use, and my CRM, it's HubSpot, if anybody's interested. I'm not a HubSpot expert, but it does the job. Now, with HubSpot, for a long time, I was trying to figure it out myself. Like, I'm talking hours and hours and hours. Now, I eventually found a professional who figured out my HubSpot. And I think I paid them about 60 to 80 quid an hour. And at first it was like, fucking hell, 60 to 80 quid an hour. But my time's worth more than 60 quid to 80 quid an hour. And I must have wasted days and weeks trying to figure something out that I give somebody else, and in 10 hours they'd fix the problem. You know what I mean? So I've got to try and delegate more. And remember, when I'm saying this, I'm reminding myself. Because I look at stuff on my to-do list and I'm thinking, why are you doing that, Chris? It's a bad use of your time. But another reason that people, businesses I see fail, is just got ineffective pricing strategies. They either price themselves too high, don't get any work, price themselves too low, get loads of work, but there's no margin in it. You've got to find that balance. And I know what I've done in the past. I remember when I first started, bloody hell, I'd have drove down to London for a job that I might earn 500 quid on. Bloody hell, it would have cost me 200 quid to stay over for the night and £100 in fuel. I'm taking myself out of the office for a day for 200 quid. But I was desperate for the work. And you know what? There are times when you're a small business, that's important. You know what I mean? You'll go out there and you'll do that job cheap just to get the referral, just to get the review on Trustpilot, to sort of make your mark out there. But when you get a little bit more established, and we are established, do your due diligence on me, right? We've helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of directors. I can't go out to London on a job that's going to make us 200 quid anymore. I mean, thank God when COVID happened, we go on Zoom, we go on Google Meet. It's very rare you leave the office nowadays. But you've got to look at this and go, what am I making out of this job? Can I afford to get someone else to do that job and still make a margin? It's important you look at pricing models. Keep your eye on the ball with this, because you take the eye off the ball, your costs go up, sales goes down, business fails. Another thing that I see, and it kills businesses, is a dependency on a single customer. And I see it a lot in construction. And I've been in construction before, and I remember we were doing this thing, and we had one guy and he owed us hundreds of thousands of pounds, but we're that far into the water with the guy, we couldn't get out. We literally couldn't get out. And I see it with builders, construction, bricklayers all the time. They're on these sites with the developer. It's the only person who pays them, goes great for a long time, but then the person they're working for starts to struggle. And then what tends to happen is, if it goes to the wall, they've got no way out. So try and spread your risk a little bit. Try and work with more than one, different streams of income coming in at one time. Another thing that I see killing people is high operating costs. New business owners having really fancy offices, driving Range Rovers and hiring loads and loads of staff. For me, at the start, it's always been roll your sleeves up. Get in early, finish late, put the graft in, build the foundations, understand how you're doing it, then you can train somebody else to do it. Be wary of high overheads. We try and keep our costs really low here. And we're in a serviced office in Preston. It's a fantastic serviced office, but it's at a good price. We have some subscriptions here, we spend money on marketing, we have some agencies that we work here, but we don't have any unnecessary costs. And that's sort of falls onto my next point, is cash flow problems. Lots of good businesses, they don't fail because they're bad businesses, they fail because they run out of dough. And one of the worst things that I see directors is the crap at chasing money. Literally, they do a job, the client's happy with the job, and they're scared of asking for the money. And I've been there in the past. But you know, today, if I've done a really good job for you, I do not mind asking you for the money because there's a fair exchange happen there. So credit control is really, really important for small businesses. If people owe you money, get the dough. And the last reason I'm going to finish on today is personal issues with the owner. Sometimes they've just had enough. Literally, the business has failed because they've lost interest in it. They've worked that hard on the business, they've not got anywhere, they've got health problems, family emergencies or burnouts. And when all that's going on, it impacts your ability to focus on the business. So I want to end on this note. If you're a business owner and you're going through the mire at the moment, look after yourself. You know, try and turn your phone off at night. Try and not work at weekends. Try and speak to somebody about what's going on in here, because this is where my problems start and end. It's how I think about them. So what I do, I have coaches I work with. I have peers that I talk to about my issues. There's people I can talk to and go, you know what? How's it going, Chris? It's going terrible. My head's all over the place. I'm full of fear. I've got so much going on. I feel really overwhelmed. And I used to say, yeah, I'm great, fantastic, because that's what all the personal development books tell you. It's nonsense. You've got to reach out. You've got to speak to people. If you want to talk to somebody like me, get in touch. Free, independent, impartial advice. Thanks for your time.